There we are, ready for another round of X Ghost. Um, I'll be playing today's daily challenge. There are no scores set yet by Thomas today, so no reference there. And I did notice there are some changes. So X Ghost is still in development, and there are some new action types, some new weapons that I have never used before, so I'm super curious about that. Let's see, let's go straight in. And today the specials are both new to me. So this one is the centipede, and this one, I don't know, glue. Looks like glue. I have no idea what it does. We have the default regular actions, but I have to say this one is unknown to me. So this is going to be interesting. Let's see. Let's see how it plays. Let's see if we can make it to Garnamar and beat him. So what is this? Filler. Well, that seems useful. Fill gaps in a continuous group of monsters of any type. Uh-huh. Spawns new monsters matching the target. Yeah, okay. That seems very powerful, very useful. Let's see. Okay, so what do we have here? The first enemies, there's not so many of them, and they are already quite neatly organized, not really in a bad shape. Let's see, what do we want here? I'm gonna move the skull there, so I have this group, and I would really like to use this glue thing, so I could fill up this hole. Well, sure. So I guess if I, how do we do that? Can I do that? No. So is it not sealed off? Wait. Hmm. Fills gaps. Looks like it should work here, but maybe I'm not fully understanding its workings. Well, let's see later. Let's try again at some point later in the game. I'm gonna move these there, and then typically I want to use this switch, um, which isn't super useful right now. I could switch these to be green. I'll I'll do this, creating a slightly bigger group of ogres in front. We have another switch, which is tends to be very good. I could create a larger green group there. This lonely devil should move somewhere else. I, but I can't really send it to the back. I can just get rid of it. Uh, but then again, I would also like to get rid of this one. Hmm. Yeah, I I think these. I'll just make them green. Not gonna think too long about that because that looks very decent. I will also probably just freeze these, buying me some time, and then just get rid of this one. And moving on. Yeah, doesn't look too bad. Let's say, no, I'm gonna move this one upwards, even though it's just a small adjustment. It's good to create groups. Um, this one probably feels a lot nicer attached to those. And then let's see, is there something useful to do here? Not so much. I think they're actually already pretty good. This doesn't really bring me much, so I'll just leave it like that. Okay, so they are getting a bit close to the edge, but that's not an issue now, especially since we have another freeze or ice coming up. I can postpone the danger, and that buys me time to create a larger group. So we're always trying to create very big groups because the score counting goes exponentially. So definitely, there's not much use in deleting smaller groups, uh, apart from sometimes you need the space. But for the high score that we're going for, we definitely want to work towards large groups as much as possible. So there's this new power, Centipede, which I've never used before. Let's see. Adds enemies of the same type to empty cells left and right of the target until blocked by another type of enemy or object. Yeah, that makes sense. So it's definitely useful. Mm, allows me to just add more ogres, which is especially nice. Let's do that. And then I'm gonna move this one up. So we have this nice row of ogres that in the next turn I can freeze, um, which means there's nothing passing them anytime soon, which is very useful. I wanna see. This doesn't bring me much, does it? No. Hmm. Okay, you you stay there. I think nothing really I want to change here. Just move this to the side. Okay, so I know I want to just freeze this whole group, but let's see if there's useful things we can do before that happens. I should probably make those two groups of skulls connect, which I can't immediately do, but that's okay. I'm just slowly working towards um, a nicer layout for all of them. Also here, not so much I want to change. I'll just let it be. Let's freeze them. Be a bit careful because they are getting close. And ooh, so the next time there's a pop, which is also new to me, destroys the targeted monster while spawning 4 monsters of the same type. Ooh, nice. We'll have to get used to that one. Um, but let's see, like if I do not get rid of the green group here, then I will have a problem next turn. So like I can do this, which will move most of them up a bit, apart from this column, which I can of course work on. Yeah, let's try to postpone this as long as we can. Mm, I'll get rid of this one. Make the whole group move up a bit, and then swap some colors. This is a bit unfortunate that they're no longer connected, but yeah, it's also not really such a great way. Like I can make all of them red, which is okay. It's slightly better, or just a minor improvement. This is actually it's just a small change, but now these are nicely connected and we have this huge group. Looking quite fine. Let's see how long we can keep it alive before, because in the next turn I will probably need to get rid of it, which is fine. I really want to try to pop. So that would get rid of one and create the same enemy type around it, which I have to say, in this case, it's probably not the most useful situation. Or yeah, I don't think I need it so much now. I will be allowed to swap once or switch once in the next turn before I have to use the axe. So that means I can make this whole green group red, which will connect some additional devils to it. That also means that probably this lonely devil, I can move it there, so it will be connected on the next turn. Yeah, in a way it also means that if I have more devils, it's actually useful. But they won't be connected that way. Yeah, no, not quite. I'll leave it like it is. These are fine. Yeah, just moving these up a bit. And this one. Just to try it out. Nice. Yeah, so clearly now these will have to go. They're getting too close. Next turn it would be game over, so that's not what we want. Let's see, I can do some nice changes. This creates a nice bunch of red ones, and here it's time to get rid of them. I also think that means that we destroyed enough of them to cause a rout. So there we go. We got this nice coin, which is very useful. We'll get to that later. And apparently also Garnamar is near. Is it still near? This whole indicator here to the right is kind of new to me, so let's see what it means. But that is definitely Garnamar on its way, which is good. We need to confront Garnamar, otherwise there's no way to get rid of him. Okay, let's speed up a bit. We're gonna move these. So they're a nice group. And well, it's some small changes, but we have time. Okay, Garnamar getting closer. We have this cool centipede again, which means we could create this whole row of ogres and then freeze them. We're gonna do that. So that means all of these will slowly get nicely stacked together, which is good because we don't want too many empty cells because we want points, and for points we need a lot of enemies. Yeah, let's bring those together, and that's slowly starting to look quite useful. We have one switch, which is nice, but at the same time we could use the freeze, which just buys us another round, and in general is very useful. We have again this centipede, very tempting to use. We could create a nice group of ogres here, or create some more skulls, so those are connected. Definitely also useful. Both fine. this one, move them up a bit. We don't actually have to because they will be coming together anyway when we freeze this row. Yeah, definitely gonna do that. Let's keep it simple. Nice centipede there. Freeze the row. And anything I want to do with this? Yeah, sure. Small changes are important. Okay, so Gardevoir is getting closer, which is very fine. We need to look at this filler thing because I didn't get it to work the first time. Well, this looks better. This would be nice. Do we want them to be ogres or devils? Both very fine. Devils it'll be. And this is turning out to be a dense stack of enemies, which potentially can bring us a very decent score. Moving this one to the side so they stack even nicer. Yeah, looking good. And now we have definitely this one to use. Bit scary though because, well, we have another one in the next turn, but no freezes and also no axes. But we have a coin, which allows us to basically have one additional turn without the enemies moving. So let's first work on this huge group. Definitely it's going to look very nice. This is going to be a huge bunch of ogres and one lost devil here. There's not a lot of other things we want to do here. They're all already so nicely stacked. There's not much use in doing anything. So let's move on. Oh, this will be a really good turn. Yeah, so we have another one of these, which means we'll be able to create a huge group of skulls. Before we do so, we change this poor little devil into something else. And let's see what's the most useful spot. There we go. This looks a lot more organized than my rooms. Sure, doesn't really do much, but let's do it. And okay, so it looks scary, but obviously I can get rid of the whole group directly. I will do so because it won't grow a lot bigger than this anyway. I can still do something, like I can turn all of them into ogres. And then before I do so, I should make sure this one's connected, then swap those around. So it's a slightly bigger group, and this is definitely a very decent amount of enemies to get rid of in one turn. That's already a very decent score. And causing a rout. And there we have Gardevoir. Completely at the front, which is a bit scary, but let's see. We still have a coin, and let's work on getting Gardevoir in a vulnerable position. I have this filler thing again. Definitely not bad. But I think before I do so, I want to move Gardevoir back one row, which creates this nice group of skulls there with the filler. Okay, it doesn't fill the ones to the side. Still very decent for a group of skulls, nicely connected. I'll move this to the side, and I'm not going to worry too much yet about how to surround Garnamar by enemies, because that is what we need to do. Well, we have the centipede again. I can create this useful block of ogres. Yeah, let's go for that. And I will freeze them, but before I do so, let's change this. This is very nice. Look at this. All frozen. And we're still safe. We still have 2 more rows of space to work with and a coin. Next turn looks very useful for us again, because we have another freeze coming up, or ice. Yeah, look, I can already work on surrounding Garnamar by the same enemy type. So Garnamar needs to be surrounded by 4 enemies of the same type in order to do 1 damage. It is possible now. I could move this row 1 unit to the left, so then he is already in danger. There's actually not anything wrong with that. So here we go. Garnamar, we could damage him now, but at the same time we're doing actually very fine with creating a larger group. So we're gonna take the risk, and mainly want to get rid of these devils there. Not really in the way, but then again, also not very useful. Like that, and so. Because we can create this large group here, like this. That's looking promising. I have another one of these centipedes. Yeah, sure. And we will freeze the whole group and just add a bit. Just 1. Sure. Frozen, and on we go. So this would already be a very strong moment to damage Garnamar, but it will also mean it gets rid of this huge group of skulls, which is all very fine. But at the same time, we could postpone that a bit and go for the risky strategy. So here's the thing. We can use the route coin, which I think we should, which buys us 1 more turn. And since the next turn has 2 of these switches, this is going to create a huge group of, probably in the end, ogres. And but then in the next turn we will either need a freeze or an axe, which, to be honest, is quite likely that it will happen. So we'll take it. We'll take our chance. There's not much here that I still want to do. Nope. Maybe just swap out that one. And yeah, let's see. So it's gonna work. We obviously we need the coin now, because there's no way of getting rid of this whole group or moving it upwards. But we can have some fun first. So, yep. Look at that. So organized. And then another one. And this is going to be a very decent score. To be honest, doesn't get much better than this. Need to use the coin. And can I fill those? No, those don't get filled. Neither does that one. So this is it. There you go, Garny. Okay, if this goes on like this, it's gonna be one of my best scores so far. I'm gonna send Garnamar back, even though I think this clearly caused a rout. If you delete or get rid of enough enemies in one go, there's they'll regroup. They know they lost. They need to regroup, and that typically puts you in a more difficult situation, like here. So again, we have this centipede, which has turned out to be very powerful. Mm, gonna try and play a bit quicker. Yes, Garny, you want to talk to us? Sure. Um, yeah, is that useful? Hmm, not so much, maybe. Still like the move. Okay. So this one, just a tiny thing to do. I'm again going for this nice roll that potentially could block everything moving closer. That's a small step, but sure, we'll take it. There's no freeze yet. Oh, and there's no freeze in the next turn, so this might not be. It might not make sense to gamble for that, but then again, there's risks to take. Well, we already surrounded Garnamar again, and I think we should just go for that. Right. Another hit. Very decent. Don't think this caused the route. Is there something I want to reorganize here? Not quite. Do we want to move Garnamar somewhere potentially surrounded by skulls? Let's see. Because we can move this one upwards. Yeah, gonna move them there. The robot should move at some point. Hmm. Okay. Moving the robot out of the way. I think I just want to get rid of that one. Look at this. This is nice. Move that one there. Use the centipede. And again, we get a chance at damaging Garnamar. But then, again, we might just want to postpone that a bit. And yeah, let's do that. Okay, you go. We swap these. And nicely close of that. We would like another freeze, which will happen in the next turn. This is fine. Let's build up some larger group before we immediately hit Garnamar again. There's so we can swap. We can swap. I'll take the swap. There we go. And oh yeah, we have a filler, which is quite powerful. Look at that. It's already looking promising. And moving that one there. Okay. Do we need to be careful? No. We have a freeze. We have another switch. This is looking very promising. I don't know. Sure. Look at them. And no, just freeze them. Next turn. So we could either damage Garnamar now, or postpone that a bit. I think just makes sense to keep going because we'll get another switch, and we still have a route coin, so there's plenty to work with. I will use the freeze. Actually, gonna move these closer, and do we want that? Is that useful? Sure. And frozen. So we can switch again, which means we want to create a large group of ogre. Before we do so, we could just add one more. Look at that. Very nice. And nothing much I want to change. So here we go. We will take out Garnemar again, or another hit. Sure, we'll fill some gaps. Can even create one more gap. It's just a tiny change, but we're going for score. And there you go. Oh, this is turning out to be a very good run. And things are still looking very promising. Okay. Now I kind of feel I want another hit. I don't want to risk continuing this game too long because we're already so close. It would be a shame if we don't finish the job here. And things are looking good, like very promising. Going for the ogre. Yeah, cleaning up. Do I want to do that? Nah. Sure. It's almost as I intended it to be. Okay. Not not quite as clean as I should have done that, but sure. We'll freeze the bunch, so we have some time. I kind of should get rid of this one. So there you go, ogre. We have the centipede. Does that work? Oh, that's very nice. Not gonna say no to that. And they're frozen. Well, look at this. Already quite promising. I will freeze it again. Not much else that I want to do. So we're speeding up a bit. Sure, a swap would not be bad. Rage, or do we want to connect to the ogre? I think this is the first move. And now, I think I'm gonna risk it and just continue for one more turn. Why not? Why not? Is there, so the next time we switch, we can create this huge group of ogre. This one though, still a bit in the way, so ha, getting rid of you. We're still safe. Let's do this. Looks very good. We can fill this one gap. Every point is a point. And then let's freeze them up. move on. So I could freeze again and again and switch. So even though that seems like a bit of a weird way of postponing this, it is actually useful. So we're just gonna do that. It's what we'll do. Get rid of you. Doesn't matter so much. And because we still have this coin, which is our safety ticket. And I can still freeze and can still switch in the next turn. So now, well, let's see. What do we start with? Skulls. Yes, we do. And freeze them. Ooh, moving on. Uh-oh. No, did I? Uh-oh. Are you still there, Garnamar? Was I clicking too fast? Did I crash the game? I hope not. Well, it is still very much in development. So this looks very frozen. That happens. Or to be honest, it never happened to me before playing this version. Um, this is X Ghost. A lot of fun. Game in development, being made by Thomas K, good friend of mine. You can find it on Steam. Try the demo. Um, the demo doesn't have the daily challenge yet, so you won't be competing with my score, which will not get registered. I'm pretty sure because this looks very frozen. I'm gonna try and switch back and forth to it, but no, I'm afraid it is what it is. Let's try again next time.